And well, first panel, I'm going to unlock my tablet so I can tell you exactly who you're going to be meeting on stage. Bex, cover me.
Technical difficulties, nothing to see here whatsoever. You shouldn't have put a 50-number passcode in. I know security is important, but really, you need to go for the face unlock. Although sometimes if you've been up all night throwing axes, that doesn't always work. The look of fear just tricks it.
Yeah, I would like to make a joke about the fact that my face is unrecognizable, but I actually haven't had Botox and really should think about it because I'm 34. So we are going to be kicking off with a presentation called More Than Just a Stream, Innovating the Esports Experience. It's sponsored by Ars Futura, and this is going to be a presentation from Luke Drezga, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Ars Futura, and this is sponsored by Ars Futura. So we are going to be having a panel for, I believe, about 15 minutes. So Luke, we will pass the stage over to you. And please, everyone, at hashtag ESI London, give a warm welcome to Luke. Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's a pleasure to be with this amazing crowd here today on an opening presentation for the second day of ESI London. So today I'll be talking a bit about how to innovate the esports experience, and I'll be talking a bit about what the current state of the esports experience is. So a little bit about me. My name is Luka, and I'm the COO of a company called Ars Futura. I've been an avid gamer for most of my life, as long as I can remember. I've been playing games as early as Diablo 1 and Warcraft 2, but even more than that, I've been involved with the esports industry for the past 8 years, shipping and building digital products. Before we actually start, I want to get a show of hands, like who here has ever visited CallOfDutyLeague.com or OverwatchLeague.com? All right, amazing. I see quite a lot of hands here up in the air, and why I'm asking this is because the company that I manage, called Ars Futura, we are a software development and design company that does a lot of work building custom web and mobile apps in the esports ecosystem. But I can ramble about Ars Futura for hours and hours, and we don't have enough time to do that today. So instead, I'd like to show you a short 30-second video to get a better understanding of what it is that we actually do. All right, awesome. As you could have seen, we've had the pleasure of working with some big names from the industry like Activision Blizzard Esports and their flagship products, Call of Duty League, Overwatch League, World Series of Warzone, Overwatch World Cup, but with some others like Vindex, Belong Gaming, Esports Engine, Halo Championship Series, and others. But we're not here today to talk about Ars Futura. We're actually here to talk about how can we innovate the esports experience. And before we do that, we need to talk about the love and hate relationship between sports and esports. So, yeah, okay. So the love and hate relationship between sports and esports. When we're looking at esports, we're oftentimes looking at it through a prism of a sports event, and that's fine. Esports is a sports of sorts, and this is kind of a tongue twister. Esports is a sports of sorts. Sure, it relies on the leagues and the teams and the players and the matches and the crowd that follows everything. But once we peel that top layer of the onion and take a deeper look at the esports experience as it is, it's actually quite more than that. Esports is played both in the digital space and the live space, while sports is played mostly in the live space. It doesn't care about geographical boundaries. It has global audiences. You don't need to have a TV subscription. There are no channel restrictions. You simply need to have a mobile phone, you need to have a console or a computer to enjoy everything that esports has to offer. The other thing that we need to talk about when we're talking about innovating the esports experience is actually who are we catering this experience to. And when we're thinking about this, one of the interesting informations that I found out way back when was that the average age of a Premier League fan is 40 years. For NFL is 47, for hockey it's 50, and for baseball it's 57. Average age of an esports player is 25. So this is a 30 years gap between an esports enjoyer and a sports enjoyer. Esports fans are kids born in the late 90s. They've grown up surrounded by technology. They're these tech-savvy digital natives that are versatile, that are following different games, genres, leagues, and that they don't necessarily root or cheer for the homegrown team that's been grown in the town that they've been living in. If a player changes a team, they oftentimes change their allegiance to the new team that player is playing for. So all of this experience is prompting us. We have these digital savvy, tech savvy beasts that require more than just passive viewing. This need for digital innovation is driving us to switch our focus from just giving them this passive viewership experiences to offering them more interaction, more engagement, and more planning. So one of the first things, there's quite a ton of different topics that we can cover in this presentation, but since we're kind of limited with time, I'm going to go through just a couple that I found out were some of the most engaging ones in the past 8 years that I've been working in esports industries. And one of the lowest hanging fruits in this is kind of the fantasy leagues and the pick'em experiences. And I'm saying low hanging fruits not because they don't drive as much engagement on that stuff, but because we've seen some of the leagues do that and focus on that. And we already have the data, the innovation, and the technology to build these experiences. By allowing your fans to make predictions which team is going to win in a certain match, to build out their brackets as the way that they see fit, and to win points based on that, to go on these leaderboards and to create these fantasy teams, you're investing the esports fans more into the league that they follow, adding another layer of immersion for the fans. At the core of every esport and sport experience, we have the game and the match itself. And at the core of that game and the match is the actual viewer experience. And how that experience currently looks to me is I come home, I sit down on my couch, I open up my TV, and I tune into Twitch or YouTube, and I look at the stream. I see what the producers want me to see, and I hear what the hosts and casters want me to hear. But I need more than that. I need to be able to tap into the POV of every player that's playing in this game. I need to see what they're seeing. I need to feel what they're feeling. I also want to be able to tap into the communications of the team. I want to hear what their strategies are. I want to hear how they're playing, how they're talking to each other, how they're planning out their actions. And in this way, I'm gaining another level of immersion, a proximity to the action, and I'm gaining better understanding of the game itself. All of these games, they're played in these immersive 3D environments. I want to be able to pluck into the center of the map, see how the players are moving around the map, see what they're doing, how they're plotting their actions, and how they're going to move next. Viewer interaction and viewer empowerment is at the forefront of esports innovation, allowing the players unprecedented levels of control. We're all quite familiar with battle passes, achievements, rewards, and all that stuff. Like almost every AAA game that was released in the past couple of years had this element to it. And why is that so? That's because it's a huge engagement driver. I want to buy that battle pass. I want to play this game more. I want to be better at the game so I can progress through my battle pass, so I can gain more rewards and all of that stuff. This sort of gamification element is something that we're yet to see get its peak in esports. An awesome thing that we did with Call of Duty League and World Series of Warzone is we created these customizable components that can be attached to any YouTube or Twitch stream that's running on the website. what this component does is it tracks the amount of time that you watched a certain stream, that the stream was in focus of your viewport on your computer. The more that you watched the game, the better the rewards were. And if you watched like 70% of the stream, you'd get all of the rewards. Another cool thing that CDL Pick'em and Owl Pick'em introduced in this year are challenges and rewards. By making predictions, you would get rewards. By making 5 predictions, you would get a simple reward. By making 10 of them, you would get a better reward. By making your predictions be correct and all that stuff, you would win additional rewards. And what this does, what it did, is that we found out that the more picks that people made once we introduced rewards and challenges, the more they were enticed to consume the content on the websites themselves. The more time that they spent doing the picks, the more VODs, the more content, the more news, the more they learned about the players and the teams and the leagues. My wife always tells me that I suffer from a bad case of FOMO. I'm quite good with my fear of missing out. That's one of the reasons that I'm here today. But what we fail to understand sometimes is that the fear of missing out is really a powerful engagement driver. It can really boost the things that the fans do when interacting with your league or a brand. And one of the examples of that is that for the last year's finals of the Overwatch League in Anaheim, we designed and developed this feature from within the Overwatch League app where it was like a lightweight scavenger hunt. You would have these QR codes spread out through the entire venue, and you as a fan would need to go around and scan all of them. Once you scan the QR code, you would get a reward. If you managed to scan all of the 8 QR codes, you would get the golden perk. And the golden perk at that time was, I think, Overwatch 2 beta playtest key. The results from this activation were really amazing. What we saw is that the adoption of the feature was 80%. So what does that mean? That means that 80% of all of the fans that came to the Anaheim Arena on that day either downloaded or upgraded their app and scanned at least one QR code. This feature took around 2 to 3 months to develop and is now reused on each and every one of the Overwatch League's biggest events in the world. Lastly, this is one of the things that I'm really quite passionate about and quite interested to see how it's going to pan out in the future. It's even adding more decision-making to the fans themselves. Imagine watching your Battle Royale streamer play the game, jump around, trying to survive as long as they can, and you being in control of what that streamer gets in their next loot box. Or even more so, you can decide what their opponent gets in theirs. So I know that this feature isn't something that can be translated into esports one-on-one, because we don't want the community to influence the matches themselves. We want the skills of the players and the way that they play the game, their prowess, to affect who's going to be ending up winning in the event. But it can be translated to something else. It can be translated to live streams where we can allow the players or the people that are watching these events decide like what match is going to be broadcast at the opening of the event. We can let them decide who's going to get interviewed in the halftimes. We can let them decide what questions that person is going to be asked. Viewership empowerment is at the forefront of esports activation. So basically, to conclude, by using all of these esports innovations, and this is just the subsection of them, we can really tighten the bond between an esports enjoyer, an esports fan, and the leagues and the games that they're so passionate about. Doing these innovations can push us another mile forward in keeping the fans, keep them more engaged, and giving them more stuff to get back to. That's it. Thanks, everybody. If anybody has any questions, I'll be here all day, I guess. So feel free to stop me and we can grab a coffee. Thank you.